Hey guys, what's up? So as a Saturday, normally I do मेरो clients programming, मेरो सबै online clients programming on Saturday. But since we're 1 week out from Bar Benders, which is Nepal's biggest powerlifting competition, and I have a few athletes who are competing in that particular powerlifting competition, and I was writing their peaking program. So 1 week out, taper week, भनौँ न taper week को program लेखिरहेको थिएँ. अनि then I realized then I thought of making this video about 5 common mistakes that people make while they're peaking for a powerlifting competition, and hopefully this will help some of you guys who are competing in bar benders to make last minute adjustments just so you don't screw up and यति धेरै मेहनत गरेको doesn't go in waste. So peak भनेको के हो? So peak भनेको, like the name implies, it's a peak of your fitness level at one particular day that is supposed to be the meet day. Powerlifting ma fitness भनेको is obviously the most amount of weight you can use. Let's keep that as let's keep that let the higher your fitness level is. I'm laughing so much because I was listening, someone sent me a fitness podcast who started in Nepal, and I'm sorry if you're listening to me, but like that guy refers to muscle as saman. So त्यसैले मैले, like, when I'm trying to refer the most amount of weight you can lift as fitness, I'm finding it funny. Anyways, we want your fitness to be at the highest level on that one particular day, anyways. So what do we understand is, like, हाम्रो fitness level, whenever it's at an elevated level, it means that it's a time when you're working out the most. So if you think about your early days or whatever it may be, when you were really fit, it was the time when you were also working out a lot. So workout गरेपछि fatigue is a byproduct of working out, obviously. And fitness high हुँदाखेरि हाम्रो fatigue levels पनि are usually always high. So powerlifting को taper week को main purpose is to keep the level of fitness where it is, and we drop the fatigue as much as we can. And because of the fatigue drop, we get a super compensation of fitness, so we're even stronger, slightly even stronger on that particular day. Depending on the person, you get anywhere from like 0 to maybe 5-7% increase in your strength. So if your fatigue goes away too much, your fitness will also not stay. So fitness पनि तल आउँछ. So if you're too fresh to work out, too fresh to perform on the midday, so your fitness will also go down at the same time. So we want the balance over there. That's what I will be talking about now. So the first common mistake is people max out on the peak week. So this is the most common thing that I see what powerlifters do, is like they start maxing out अगाडिदेखि नै, but even on the peak week. So peak week is 1 week long भनौँ न. Peak week man, you're already starting to max out. And the thing with our body is, even if our muscles recover, our tendons, our joints take longer time to recover. So maxing out on the peak week is the most common mistake. If you wanted to max out, I would say maybe at least even 3 weeks out or 2 weeks out of the meet. But even then, I don't have my athletes max out on any particular exercise ever. So that's common mistake. So you don't want to be maxing out on your peak week. Second is a very common myth, and people test openers on their powerlifting meet. They say like your openers is something that you should be able to do for a 3 rep max, and which may be true because 3 rep max is normally around 92% of your 1 rep max. So people go ahead and try to do the 3 rep max on a Sunday or something like that. So that's another mistake, because that will also not help you reduce the fatigue. I've made this mistake, so I don't want you guys to do that percentage. So your openers should be anywhere from 89 to 91% of your projected 1 rep max for the powerlifting competition. So if you're projected, if you think your absolute best is 100 today, your openers should be maybe around 89 to 91 kgs. Or like if it's like that, just put it 90, because we don't have an option to do 89 kgs on a powerlifting meet, because 2.5 kg increments, and so that should be your opener. You don't need to test it, and obviously your projected 1 rep max also should be reasonable. Mistake number 3, also a very common one, and surprisingly this is the one which really works as well. If your only purpose is trying to reduce all the fatigue you want, and that's resting too much. So अघि नै हामीले कुरा गरिसक्यो नि the relationship between what you say the fitness र fatigue को relationship हामीले कुरा गरिसक्यो. So if and it's so highly correlated that if one goes down too much, the other also comes down. So we need to find the right balance. So normally अब competition छ भनेपछि people start to rest too fast, like 3 दिन 4 दिन 5 दिन. I've even heard like 1 week of complete rest and then test गर्ने, like test गर्यो भने त एकदम बलियो हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ, but that's totally not the case. So what you ideally want to do is squat, bench press, deadlift ma whatever your frequency is for the lifts. Let's hypothetically say like squat ma you're squatting 2 times 3 times a week, bench pressing 3 times a week, and deadlifting 2 times. All you want to do is cut the frequency by maybe 1 or 2 days. So if it's on the higher like 5 times frequency or someone, you can make it drop it to 2 times. But then like for most cases and for most of my athletes, I just have them drop the frequency by 1 frequency per day and cut the volume in half, exactly in half. So number of sets, but then the same amount of reps and whatever, or vice versa, cut the number of reps into half and keep the number of sets the same, and not have them do a top set, but just like their regular volume set with maybe like 5 to 10% decrease, maybe anywhere from 80 to 70% को range मा volume train गरेर हुन्छ. Just do it like 2 or 3 times a week. Day, Wednesday, Thursday गरिनु हुन्छ, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday गरिनु हुन्छ, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday गरिनु हुन्छ, something like that. So that's number 3. Number 4 is still continuing to do too much assistance exercises even on the peak week. So like I said, exercise पनि गर्यो, अनि if you're doing like the taper stuff also and then doing assistant movements also, this moment like last one week mother, you're not gonna build any more muscle because normally people are cutting weight or either maintaining, so there's not a significant amount of muscle that you will be building at the last week. So last week pura leg press garera, that's not gonna carry over to your squat in the weekend. So for this 1 week at least, I would cut out all the assistance movements from the program and just do the power lifts, so your brain is not confused with the movements first, and your fatigue also is relatively good. And the final one that I want to talk about is people doing too much stretching all of a sudden, people going for massage, all the sort of things, which I'm a big fan of massage myself. I love going to the massage, but the thing with massage or any myofascial release, stretching, all those sort of things is that it makes your muscles relax in a way, and ideally we don't want our body to be completely relaxed. We want it to be strong, we want it to be tense. So mobility work, all these things have its place. I'm not a big fan of it anymore, but it's got its place and everything, but it's definitely not during the last weeks of training, because again, it's extra volume. Like when you're stretching, you're using energy. When you're lying down on a foam roller, you're using energy. When your muscles are loose because of massaging it, it might not be able to produce the amount of force. Now there is some studies, there are some research that shows that warm up, like activation exercise, all those things, after you're done with the foam rolling and all, your muscle contraction become almost the same. But they didn't test it with powerlifting, like jump. I think they tested it with vertical jump or whatever it may be. I'm not a big fan of adding too many extra stuffs in the last week of training. So that wraps up my top 5 mistakes that people make peak week. So just treat your powerlifting meet as just another day in the training. Don't try anything too drastic. Don't try to have some new sort of pre-workout, new diet. Don't go on a diet on the last week. That's very common, because everything you've worked for, you've already worked for it. The better your off season was, the better your accumulation phases were to push your fitness really high, you push your fatigue really high. That's gonna show in the platform. And don't stress about the peak week so much. It's very simple. Just have fun, lift a lot of weight. Hopefully all of you make very good PRs in the weekend, and I will see you all in Barbenders and in the next video.